Kṛṣṇa. Welcome back to the series of discussing Bhagavad Gita. Today we shall be discussing text 17th from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So text 17 is Yo na hṛṣyati na dveṣṭi na śocati na kāṅkṣati śubhāśubha-parityāgī bhakti-mān yasame priyaḥ. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So here, Kṛṣṇa is mentioning three more qualities of a devotee. Yo na hṛṣyati na dveṣṭi. Hṛṣya means harsh, like happiness or becoming rejoiced. And dveṣṭi means grieving or lamenting over something. So yo na hṛṣyati na dveṣṭi, who does not become elated or rejoices or nor grieves over something. We have the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing kirtan in his home, the 5-year-old son of Srivas Thakur, he died. And all the ladies within the home, they started crying on the dead body of the child. Srivas Thakur, he was the first one to hear that cry. He went immediately inside and the ladies told him that your son is dead. He said, it's all right, but please do not cry loudly. And the ladies were shocked. Srivas, your 5-year-old son is dead. Srivas Thakur said, that's perfectly all right, but please do not cry loudly. And then he went out and participated in the kirtan as if nothing had happened. He didn't show any signs of distress to Lord Chaitanya. But again he started hearing the crying, so he went inside and told the ladies, if your crying disturbs Lord Chaitanya's kirtan, then I promise you, I will tie a stone around my neck and jump into Ganga and drown myself. And the ladies got scared, became very much fearful, including the wife of Srivas Thakur. So they became silent. They were lamenting within, because for ladies it's much more difficult. So they were lamenting within, but they stopped crying. And Srivas Thakur went and again participated in the kirtan as if nothing had happened. And Lord Chaitanya was, when he got to know later on, he was so much moved by this quality of Srivas Thakur. He was not grieving even on the death of his own son. He was not lamenting that my son is dead or gone. And also one who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. In this world, in general, people are very much concerned about auspiciousness and inauspicious, because auspicious means something that is going to bring happiness, and inauspicious means something that is going to bring distress in our life. So people are always attracted to something that is auspicious, śubha, and they want to avoid aśubha. But Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Dvaite bhadra abhadra sakali saman, ei bhala ei mand sab manodhag. He says, Dvaite, both, this duality of bhadra and abhadra. This is auspicious, this is inauspicious, this is good, this is bad. Dvaite bhadra abhadra sakali saman. They are all equal. Whether you take bhadra or abhadra, you take śubha or aśubha, they are nothing but one and the same. How it is same? Because even if you have auspicious, so-called worldly auspiciousness, which brings some sense pleasure, but you still remain in the cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shanam, as Sripad Shankaracharya says. Even if you have auspiciousness in this world, you will again be forced to enter into the womb of mother. Punarapi janama, you will again take janma. Punarapi maranam, if you take birth, you will definitely die. As Kṛṣṇa says in Gita, jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, you will definitely die if you are taken birth. Punarapi janam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathareshanam. Again you will enter into the womb of a mother and suffer the pains of birth and death. So, even if a person is hankering for Bhadra or Shubha in life, that means he will continue to rot in the cycle of birth and death. So from that point of view, Kṛṣṇa Goswami says, Dvaite Bhadra Abhadra Sakali Saman. Bhadra and Abhadra both are one and the same. In other words, they both lead to repetition of birth and death and thus suffering in the material world. So to think, Ei bhalo, this is good. Ei manda, this is not good. Ei sab manodharma, this is all nothing but our mental concoction. Because so-called good and bad is also ultimately, in absolute sense, is all bad. Because that keeps a person bound in the cycle of birth and death. So janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, adhyatmik, adi, bhautik, adi, devik, kleshas, the miseries continue, whether you have shubha or aśubha. So a person renounces this mentality of shubha and aśubha. There's actually a nice example. One day was a Chinese farmer. So this Chinese farmer, one day he went to the forest and he found a horse, a black horse. And he brought the horse home, and all the people in the village, they became kind of appreciative. Oh, you are so fortunate. This is so auspicious that you found a horse. Because farmers means they need some animals to cultivate the land. So horse was very helpful. So they said, oh, this is so auspicious. The farmer said, auspicious, inauspicious, I don't know. Ultimately, it's God's grace. After a few days, the horse went into the forest and disappeared. So people again said, oh, you had a horse and you lost it. It is so inauspicious. This is so bad. And again he said, what auspicious? I don't know what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. Ultimately, it's all God's grace. And next day, the black horse came with 7 white horses. He brought the 7 horses along with him from the forest. So now this person had 8 horses, 1 black and 7 white horses. So people said, oh, this is so auspicious. You have 8 horses now. And the farmer said, auspicious, inauspicious, I don't know. It's ultimately God's grace. So one day his son, the farmer's son, he was riding on a horse and he fell down and he broke his leg. And he became handicapped for the lifetime. He couldn't walk because he badly injured himself. So people said, oh, you have 8 horses, but your son has become handicapped. This is so inauspicious. And again he said, auspicious and auspicious, I don't know. It's ultimately grace of God. After some time, there was a war declared. And the country's king, he forced all the young men to be drafted in the army. So every young man from the village was drafted. But this son of farmer, because he was handicapped, he was left. So all the young men from that village, they went to the war and they all died. And the people said, oh, you are so fortunate. Your son is handicapped, but at least you have a son who's living. No, we all lost our sons. So in this world, auspicious and inauspicious keeps changing with time. What we perceive today as auspicious, tomorrow we may think the same thing as inauspicious. What we see today as inauspicious, tomorrow we may think of same thing as so auspicious. So this auspicious inauspiciousness is nothing but mental concoction. And a devotee gives up this mentality of Shubha and Ashubha. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.